Hideout has always been a great resource for ammo, profits, crafting items, and bonuses. But with patch 12.12 and the wipe, it is even more important than ever. Now, aside from those other things, this video is going to primarily be about profits and how you can make the most money in the Hideout. Now, it's early wipe right now, so prices are real volatile. And to be honest, this video is probably not going to help very much. But I'll give you an idea what to look out for, a couple alternate crafts, and some tips to help you maximize your profits. Quick note for new folks, crafted items in your Hideout can be used for tasks. They have the found and raid status, so you can turn them into traders or list them on the flea market. So that means you can take stuff from raid that isn't found in raid and turn it into found and raid items through the crafting process. And in doing so, you can make a great deal of money if you know what to look out for. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about the MedStation and some of the new crafts here and new items in the game. The med tools, as we're all aware, have become very cheap, but they're now a component used in several crafts and upgrades for the MedStation itself. When it comes to crafting, the SJ1s themselves are going to be the big ticket item here. Now you have to have MedStation level 3 for this. I'll talk about 2 and 1 in a second, but let's dive into the numbers for the SJ6. Now for this, I use tarkovmarket.com. I have the paid service, $5 a month, I believe, on their Patreon, and it gives you access to all sorts of tools. I like using it because it makes the graphics easier for you guys to understand, and I can update them and put a little bit different prices in there if need be. So the SJ6, what you're going to want to shoot for is 22K or less on your SJ1s, 6K or less on your meds, and 20K or less on your NACLs, your NACLs. And then shoot for about 44K on your SJ6s. Now, if you craft these in groups of 4 or 5 or 6 and list them at a higher price, you're usually a little bit better off. You can get a little bit more money out of them. And that's what I tend to do. I'll wait till I log off at the end of the night, and however many of these I've crafted through the day, usually it's somewhere between 4 and 10. I'll list all of those when I log off, since we only have 2 slots now. And what that'll allow me to do is push 46, 47, sometimes 48,000 rubles per stim instead of around the 42 to 44 mark. This is going to net you about 25,000 in total profit, maybe even 30 if you get lucky and push it higher, which comes out to about 17 to 18,000 per hour. And that's what we talk about when we compare profits, is profit per hour. And that's because it's the only way you can get all these different crafts with different craft times, apple to apple. Now, if you're at loyalty level 2, the IFAK is the way to go. And there's a couple of cool things with this. One, get your meds for less than 6K if you can, and you can buy your bandages and your smirches, the tourniquets, off the traders. But sometimes you can find these on Fence and pay a little bit less. Or what I do often is if I use my army bandage, the green one, and it's a 1 out of 2, I'll use that to craft IFAKs instead, because not only did I get a little use that out of raid, but now I can make some money with it as well. And me personally, I try to push 14.5 to 15K when I'm selling my IFAKs, again in bigger stacks. But if you're getting 13.5, you're doing pretty good. Now at level 1, it's pretty simple. There's not a lot you can do, but you can make money with AI2s, and you don't have to have the flea market even to do this. You just take meds, you craft them into AI2s, and you sell the 3 of them to therapists, or you end up using them yourself. If you're that low level and you're still looking for meds, this is a great source for that, because you can take a 1 slot item out of raid and turn it into 3 healing kits. So it's kind of handy when it comes to pre-flea crafting. Now there's one more craft I want to talk about, and this is your single largest profit craft. And this is important because duration doesn't matter, as you do it when you log off at night, or if you're going to have a long duration between crafts. This gives you the most bang for your buck. And on the MedStation, it's defib. But there's some caveats here. You need to craft your magnets and your wires. They're almost twice as expensive to buy on the market as they cost to craft. Wires you can craft from anywhere from 5,000 to about 8,000, and magnets are right around 20,000, because you just got to buy a hard drive and you turn that into a magnet. After that, I just buy my caps and my power banks, or if I have them in raid, great. And then I shoot to sell my defibs for about 150,000. And I do this about once every 3 or 4 days. I'll list 2 or 3 of them in a stack at 150. And then people looking to do barters with them buy those bigger stacks up because they need several of them. It'll only net you about 45,000, but it gets you 2 things. One, it helps increase your flea market rating, which is tough now to get an extra slot. And 2, it really levels up your hideout skills, which are really important, especially with the way the swipe's going to be going. The faster craft speeds are going to be really helpful for getting ammo and stuff like that. Now, real quick thing I get asked all the time, do I count fuel in these costs? And I do not, for a couple of reasons. One, there's about 15 variables here. I'm being sarcastic, it's like 6 or 7, but where you get your fuel from, what fuel you use, what level your hideout management skill is, all of those, and whether you use your fuel containers to craft or not, all have effects on fuel cost. Suffice to say, it's somewhere between 2.5 and 5,000 an hour in pure cost. So it's not big enough to affect. If you're worried about crafting to make a profit, any one of these crafts is going to cover your fuel costs, even if you do it just once per fuel can. If you want to turn it off at night, by all means do, but you're giving up on hideout management skill, because burning fuel levels up hideout management. I'm going to keep mine running 24/7, especially now that I got a Bitcoin farm. Now, the nutrition unit also got some changes with the last couple of patches. We had Aquamarine craft change, actually taken away. This used to be the Aquamarine craft right here with the super water in the tube and 8 Aquamarines, and it's now 8 water bottles. But thankfully, recently they added the Aquamarine craft back in. It's 4 water bottles and 4 filters, gives you 4 Aquamarines, as well as adding the emergency water ration craft. So 2 cool crafts I think were much needed, and they added more viability to the nutrition unit. Now, early wipe, one of the biggest things with the nutrition unit is that you use it to get some quest items like Urskas and Tushunkas and things like that you need, or Wilstons even. But more importantly, it's one of the only times you can actually make money in the nutrition unit. As the wipe goes on, the profits in here really start to skim down, so take advantage of it now while you can. Now, if you have a level 2 or level 3 workbench, you should be crafting slickers. And there's 2 catches with this. Try to take crackers and oat flakes out of raid. I know it sounds silly, but they're going to save you money on this craft and make even more money for you. They are worth their slots, and you can even eat the oat flakes down to 1 out of 40 and still use them, so you can get a little energy out of them if you need to. Shoot for about 12k on your chocolate, and then try to list your slickers for about 12k or more. It can be a stretch sometimes, but people are burning through a lot of these for barters right now, so they do swing in price quite aggressively up and down. So don't get discouraged if you see them in the 9k range, because they're going to come right back to 12 in a hurry. Now, if you have a level 1 workbench, there's not a lot you can do to make money here, so you should try to push to get to that level 2 workbench. That being said, there is a trick that can actually net you a little bit of profits, and that is making these emergency water rations or even the Kvass water bottles. And that's using used up water bottles. So you drink your water bottle down to 1 out of 60. So we'll set this price to 0 because you used it, right? It's free. That's kind of how you can look at it. And then all of a sudden you can make profit on the emergency water rations. But that's the caveat you've got to go at here. You've got to use that water bottle down to 1 out of 60 or 2 or 5, whatever you want to. But don't use it all up and then use it to craft something. And there's a lot of crafts that use the water bottle here and in the lavatory that you can utilize this little trick with. Now, for the long craft, like we talked with the defibs in the MedStation, we have the hot rods. The key here is to try and get as much out of your hot rods as you can. We'll look at the price, but if you see the price swing here, they swing as high as 12 or 13,000. Now, these also go in big batches. Now, you craft 20 of them, but people will buy them in 10s or 15s because they're using them for the whole ink barters or some of the ammo barters or some of the things like that. But again, it's a good long craft to help up that crafting skill and that hideout management. And at the end of the day, you're selling over 200,000 rubles worth of product, which helps your flea market rating as well. Now, with the nutrition unit, I want to talk about the water collector a little bit. Just to bring it up, if you have the boost generator as well, you're doing better than me. I don't have mine built yet. We're going to get there. But if you have your water collector, you should be running this 24/7. This will pay for all the fuel in your hideout all by itself. A filter without any skill upgrades, your hideout management skill actually reduces how much it uses, but it uses 66 out of 100 units to make 1 bottle of water. And right now, filters are dirt cheap. They range from anywhere from 20 to 30,000 rubles, and you can sell your purified water for upwards of 115, 120. But even on the low range of 100, you're more than tripling your money out of this. You're making 100K in pure profit every couple hours with this, which more than covers your fuel costs. And then on the boost generator side, you're not going to make money right now with it, but it's a long-term play. You craft some moonshine, you let it sit in your container, and you sell it, because right now it's about 160 to 180,000 to craft the moonshine if you buy everything. It'll eventually go to 200, 210, 220, maybe even 250. It's kind of hard to tell this wipe, but it will get more expensive as demand goes up, and you'll be able to make a lot of money off of big stacks of moonshine, especially as people start to buy them to do thick barter trades and things like that. Now, real quick, I'll talk about the Bitcoin farm here. It's really important to talk about it just because it is worth it. There's a lot of arguments about it. I've done math every wipe. It pays for itself. I will do another deep dive on this. If you're interested right now, go check out one of my videos from last wipe. The information isn't necessarily outdated, but there's some things that I want to tweak with it for the new wipe. Just different costs and things to upgrade stuff. But essentially, the sooner you get this going, the better off you are. Figure 2 to 3 months and it'll pay for itself. It doesn't matter how full you put it, how far you upgrade it. I go all the way to 50 cards every wipe and it works out great for me. Now, right next door at the Intel Center, and I apologize, I don't have loyalty level 3 yet. I can't find one of those damn magnetic tapes, and I'm not going to pay $2 million for it, or I can't afford to. But loyalty level 2. I can talk about the level 3 crafts a little bit, but more importantly is what's on loyalty level 2, especially this early in the wipe. For me, I was primarily crafting task items. I got lucky and got an SG out, a signal transmitter out of raid, but I had to craft my VPXs, and I'm going to craft a Vertex after these thumb drives are done. And that's for task items. I turn those in as task rewards. Once that's done, I'll have a level 3 Intel Center, and I'll cycle between thumb drives and Intel just to make money. That's pretty much what I do. The crafts here are so long, it's not worth talking about some of the other stuff. If you want to make a bigger hit and think about it less, VPXs are a great profit right now. And they'll probably get more as more people get their level 2 workbench. They're going to be buying more of those VPXs to do some of these crafts. And it's going to end up being a better profit. Now at the Lavatory, we got this one to level 3. We've got our nice little companion inside our blue room here. They added a bunch of crafting items here. This was the one that got changed the most. They added metal parts, metal spare parts, and sewing kits. This changed up several of the crafts. So metal spare parts, as you can see here, you need them for the Lucky Scav junk box, you need them for the FP100 filter, and you need them for the grenade case. This has ruined these crafts for this point of time. If we look here at the metals spare parts, they're pretty expensive. Now you can find them in raid pretty easily. These have come from like 450, 350,000 rubles down to 250 now, 260. I've had raids where I've got them out of four of these out of a raid, and you just find them in toolboxes. That's where I've been finding them. But I've heard duffel bags, caches. I haven't seen anybody say they found them in open world yet, but they might be kind of, I don't know if anybody knows what they look like. So if wherever you find these, make sure you let us know down in the comments so we can all go track them down. So as those lower in price, those crafts will come back in. They're not there now. And then they added the sewing kits to a couple of the crafts, the raid backpack craft, the MPPV craft, which is a rig, and then the pilgrim backpack, the big purple backpack or blue backpack, I guess, depending on what color you think it is also requires the sewing kits. These are also pretty common. I've been finding them. I think they're still pretty expensive, but as more and more come into the flea market, the price will get cheaper and cheaper. It already obviously has. So as far as making the most money here, it's the magazine case, and this is with or without any caveats. But what I like to do is I burn up 2 fuel cans, blue fuel cans. I'm buying them now. I buy them for like 70, 80,000 rubles, or find them in raid. I throw them in my generator. Once they're used up, I use them to craft a mag case. Then I turn around and I sell a mag case on the flea market. Now the price has come down on these quite a bit. More people are doing this, so keep an eye out. But even with the prices of bolts and nuts tanking lately, you can still even sell these to a trader. I think Therapist pays like 148,000 for them and still make decent money. We're not there yet. Keep selling them on the flea market. You could use them to craft a Lucky Scav junk box if you really need to, but the metal spare parts are ruining that right now unless you have some that are non-found in raid. Now, a close second to this, believe it or not, is shampoo. But this follows that caveat of using used up water. So a 1 out of 60 water can still be used to craft shampoo. And shampoo is just going to get more expensive because people are needing it for barters. It's used for a couple of good ammo barters and some other stuff. So its price is only going to get higher as people get higher and higher level traders and get these barters unlocked. Now, if you don't have a level 2 Lavatory, at level 1, you can make good money with scav backpacks. Again, use a 1 out of 60 water bottle. Try to get your fleece for about 12K and your MBSSs for 11K or less if you can. There is a hard drive barter for the MBSS, but it's kind of expensive right now. Hard drives are pushing 20K. If we see hard drives pull back to like 10, maybe look into that barter with Peacekeeper to get the MBSS to bring your prices down. But then just try to sell your scav backpacks for about 20,000 rubles, and you're still able to make money on the level 1 Lavatory. Now for the long craft, it was grenade cases and scav junk boxes, but that's not going to be the case until these metal parts get cheaper, or you get them out of raid, non-found in raid. You put them in your secure container, you die. This is a good use for them. Craft these on your long crafts. The rest of the components are really cheap, and you're going to make a bunch of money with this, even though your metal parts weren't found in raid. But do not buy them and try to craft these. You will just lose money. Now, the Workbench is probably my favorite station of all because it has the most options, the most utility, and you can make the most money here by far compared to any other station, especially if you know what really to look into. And here, not only am I going to tell you about the top crafts, I'm going to tell you about a couple other trick crafts that I do that you can weave in and out and really maximize your profits. Now, the craft I've got going right now is the #1 craft, the Nixers. But the catch with this one is you need to have informed means armed with skier accepted. That unlocks the cameras. Do not buy these off the flea market unless they get cheaper. But right now, you want to buy them from him for euros. Buy your plexiglass, make 2 Nixers, sell them for upwards of 80,000 rubles. People are still using them to upgrade their security. This will not last for long. So make sure you take advantage of it while you can, because this won't stay around for very much longer as more and more people get their upgrades and the demand goes down. Now, the Nixers require a level 2 workbench, but at level 1, you have access to a ton of crafts, and one of the ones is wires. And this craft is good through the entire wipe. If you ever have a question on what to craft, or you don't know what to do, craft wires. It will at worst make you a little bit of money, but usually makes quite a bit of profit, especially if you're good at sniping your power cords cheap. I aim for like anywhere right now, I aim for like 18, 17, sometimes you even get lucky and get 15,000 power cords. And then I try to sell my wires pushing 15,000. Again, this is one of those things that I'll list in a really big stack. You know, I'll do 3 or 4 of these cycles of wires and list, you know, 20 or 30 wires and just let them sit. But if the wire craft, the beauty about the wire craft is it's got an opposite craft, a yin and a yang, if you will. If wires get cheap and power cords get expensive, start crafting power cords. Now, as you can see right now, it's not making money. The prices are expensive on it. One of the tricks you can do is you can actually use 2 of your crafted wires, which lowers the price down to about, like I said, 7,500 to 5,000. And if you're getting tapes or T-plugs out of RAID, non-found in RAID, it's a use for them. I also try to push the 25 to 30,000 with power cords, though we have seen the price start to come down. They were pretty wild for a couple of days, pushing 30, 35K pretty regularly. They've started to pull back a little bit. If that's the case, just keep an eye on it. If power cords just keep getting cheaper, that's better for the wire side of the craft, because wires are usually always between 9 and 12K, no matter what time you're trying to buy them, and you're gonna make money doing that. A side craft that is really good, though it's not the best, but it's really easy, is the magnet craft, and it always makes a ton of money. If you can get your hard drives cheap, especially, you know, down into the 15K range, you can always sell magnets for like 30, 35, 40,000. But even if you're getting your hard drives at 20,000, you don't have anything else to craft, and you're just kind of, I need to craft something real quick, grab a hard drive, turn it into a magnet, and you're almost always going to make money with these. And then 2 other crafts that are kind of on board with this that are not the best, but they're pretty good, is the VPO 209 craft. This turns into 2 weapon parts. Now, it used to be a lot better because weapon parts were selling for that 25 to 30K range. They've come back, but the craft is still viable. And the best way to do it, believe it or not, is to go to Fence, toggle carbines. Yes, I know I say carbines and people don't like that, but it makes me want to say it even more. And look for a VPO 209. See, there's one right here, and this is even better because it's not fully functional, right? We'll buy this one. We spent 20,000 on it, and then you go buy these 2 parts from traders. This is like 2,000, maybe 2,500 rubles. So let's say we got 23,000 into this VPO. Now that it's not red, it's actually functional. This will craft. I can't show you because my crafts are running, but this will craft into those 2 weapon parts that are worth, we saw there 18,000, but even pushing 20, 22,000. So you can more than double your money with this craft. It's just a nice little side craft at level 1 workbench, and you don't have to have any fancy traders or anything to do it. Now with the VPO 209 craft is the AK-74N craft. Not only is this, can you use this for a task, it's a way to make money. You got to have loyalty level 2 proper to buy the parts. You get the weapon parts, the handguard, and the buttstock, and it crafts in an AK-74N. But the beauty about this AK-74N is it has 30 rounds of BP in the mag as well. So take the mag out, unload the rounds, you can sell the 30 rounds of BP and sell the gun and get a little bit more profit out of it. So that's all the stations, at least what I have running now. Once we get our scav case up and running, we get more Bitcoin built, I can see the modules. We'll do videos specifically on those, but hopefully this helps you guys make a bunch more money in your hideout. Appreciate you guys watching. I wish you the best of luck in your raids, and we'll see you in Tarkov.